The Big Mac lucky to have bacon, or is bacon lucky to land on the Big Mac?
The Big Mac is lucky. Applewood smoked bacon makes everything taste better. The Big Mac, Brussels sprouts, dry toast.
No. Bacon's lucky to be on the iconic Big Mac. It's fortunate to dip its toe in that delicious special sauce.
There you have it. Get McDonald's Big Mac with bacon, fresh beef quarter pounder with bacon, and cheesy bacon fries. Is it the best thing to happen to our classics or to bacon? Try for yourself and decide.
Only for a limited time at participating McDonald's. Fresh beef available at most restaurants in contiguous U.S. Not available in Alaska, Hawaii, and U.S. territories.
At MJ Christmas, you're not dealing with a chain. You're dealing with a locally owned establishment that's been here for years and years. And one of the things you guys pride yourself on, Cliff Miller, that's community involvement.
We are deeply involved. Our company is Vegas-born, and we're Vegas-strong. And what makes Vegas so strong is all the charitable issues that need to be addressed. And anywhere we can, we try to join hand in hand and lift this community up.
MJ Christensen, something special for the love of your life. Located at Boca Park.
On Twitter, follow us at the LV Sportsline and at ESPN 1100. It's time for the Las Vegas Sports Line, brought to you by the Sunset Station with sports director Chuck Esposito. Presented by WagerTalk.com.
That's right. We got two for the price of none today because we had Golden Nugget in the first half hour. And, we were off Monday, so we didn't have our station casinos Sunset Station spot with Chuck Esposito, but we do today, which is good stuff. Before we get to Chuck, let's quickly check out our Joe's Angle of the Day.
Hello, friends. This is Thomas Johnson from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Need a great idea for lunch or dinner? Your best bet is Joe's, one of the most popular dining destinations on the Strip. Joe's provides the ideal setting for private parties with accommodations for up to 150 guests. Stop by to see us at the Forum Shops at Caesars and ask for Thomas Johnson, your maitre d'.
Longest winning streak in the business has to be Joe's. I've never had a bad meal there. And I've been there longer than, the DiMaggio hitting streak, 56, nothing. Hey, that's absolutely nothing. It's just an amazing restaurant. Make your reservations at 702-792-9222. Speaking of streaks, 5 in a row, the right way for the Joe's Angle of the Day.
Sure, let's see if we can make it 6 tonight. This one is in MAC action, and it's all about the road chalk. Two teams that have been mispriced consistently for months. Bowling Green, 13-3 against the spread in their last 16 games. The Ohio University Bobcats, 2-14 against the spread in their last 16 games. So BG has been an undervalued commodity. Ohio U has been an overvalued commodity. Joe's Angle of the Day says lay 4.5. Game number 875, Bowling Green at Ohio. Worth noting, this is a 3:30 Pacific time start, not 4 o'clock. So
and it is one of the writing games tonight.
Yes.
Originally scheduled for tomorrow, moved to Friday night for television purposes. Good move by the MAC as far as that goes. Chuck Esposito joining us right now from Sunset Station. Hey, Chuck, what's going on?
I'm good, guys. How about you? Just, enjoying a little bit of the calm before the storm, although there's never any real downtime, but just fun talking about a little college hoops.
No downtime tonight at the, not the Thomas and Mack, but the T-Mobile. That would be a rather big surprise if they ended up playing at the Thomas and Mack. The Golden Knights hosting the Jets. These aren't the best of times for either of these two teams.
No, they're not. The Jets come in on a 3-game losing streak. They're still right in the Central with Nashville. I believe just 1 point behind Nashville, but they do have 3 games in hand, so they're in pretty good shape. The Knights third in the Pacific. It's going to be a monumental task, I think. They really have to get hot to be able to catch either Calgary or San Jose in the Pacific. The thing that really concerns me about the Knights is that I believe they're 10-18-1 against teams that are in the playoffs right now, and that's not a great sign. They're still 17-9-4 at home, but have really struggled of late, just going 3-6-1 over their last 10 games.
Yeah, the offense continues to lag, and Miller hasn't played well and was a healthy scratch in his last game. I think he'll be back out on the ice tonight. And I think it's become apparent that the Golden Knights, as much as they would love to be in contention to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals, one rental isn't going to do that. They're just not at that level. So I think that the likelihood that they are not going to be active at the trade deadline, probably a good thing, and more of a signal they'll be looking toward free agency in the summertime.
It wouldn't surprise me to see them tinker a little bit with after the success that they had last year. It's funny, but if you would have asked me, and I think we did talk about it a month ago or longer, I really felt that their needs were on the back end, And now I think it's up front. I think that first line, for whatever reason, hasn't produced the way that they had hoped that it would. Marchand leads the team with 19 goals. I believe you look at Pacioretty and Carlson at 18. They just haven't gotten that same scoring. Now, I'd rather have a team go through a little bit of a funk in February than, the latter part of March or April. So maybe they get it out of their system. As we saw last year, T-Mobile is still a really tough place to play. They still have 2 games left this year with Calgary. So, I think they can still turn it around, but I am a little concerned with the struggles at home and with the struggles against the upper echelon in the league so far. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them tinker a little bit if they could help themselves up front in the scoring area.
Well, I mean, Chuck, with the Knights continuing to slump, are you seeing a significant impact on your handle over at Station Casinos? Last year everybody bet the Knights every day, every game. And obviously this year it hasn't been anything like that yet. Are you seeing the handle way down?
No, we're not, guys. I mean, they're still the most heavily bet team in the league. And I think, a lot depends on who they're playing. I can say that you're not seeing as much one-sided action as maybe you've seen in the past. I mean, last year they were so dominant with the goal scoring and winning games at home by more than, the goal and a half, which was not a good outcome for us when that occurred. Their point differential, although they're third in the Pacific, they are, I think, sixth in the Western Conference in point differential, just barely above, even. So a lot depends on who they're playing. And as I mentioned earlier, if they're playing some of the bottom feeders in the league, you still see heavy action, especially on the puck line. Yep. But with their lack of scoring and the fact that they're 10-18-1 against teams that are in the playoffs right now, you are seeing some play on the other side. So, from our end, I think for the most part, from a fan's perspective, we still root for them. But from a business perspective, again, it depends on who they're playing. But in most nights, we're rooting against them.
What about the college basketball team, UNLV? If interest is not lagging in the Golden Knights, even if it's not as dominantly one-sided as it was last season, what's happening with UNLV? I mean, I don't even hear any buzz. What's the betting volume like on a typical UNLV game?
Guys, you said it, Dave. There just isn't that buzz. There still are guests that ask to put it on, and we all root for them from a fan's perspective. Sure. But you just don't see the betting volume on them right now. I think most people would struggle to kind of name the best players on their team, and unfortunately, it's been a kind of a trend for the last few years. Nevada gets so much more hype and buzz, although they. They're ranked in the top 10, almost in the top 5, but it's just a struggle right now, as far as UNLV goes.
So who are the teams in college basketball that are getting more than their fair share of attention from bettors right now?
I don't know if it's more than their fair share, guys, but, I mean, of course, how well, Duke's played of late. Mm-hmm. Of course, the situation with Williamson, we'll have to wait to see how that unfolds. He says he wants a championship, but many people think he shouldn't play. I think you look at, how well Kentucky's played. I think Kentucky's kind of that team now that if you looked at Kentucky after the first month, you didn't think they were quite as good as they are right now. We know Virginia's still good. Tennessee has slumped a little bit. But I think you can really talk about, a good 8 to 10 to 12 schools right now that are going to be fun to watch come tournament time.
All right, I know you'll be watching this because you're an NFL guy. You love the NFL and getting up to speed with what's happening in the draft combine. It can be a lot of fun. It begins on Tuesday, and I guess the big question that I've got from a gambling standpoint is now that we're seeing the explosion of legalized wagering, the NFL draft combine does offer a lot of situations that can be turned into props. Do you see that happening down the road?
I do. I think we saw what happened with the draft. I mean, we've had our draft party here, and it was just, it was a party, and we gave away caps and some other cool stuff. And, if you're a draft niche, there was no better place to watch it. But we added props a couple of years ago, expanded on that last year, and we'll look to do the same. And I think when it comes to the combine, you'll look at that as well, that if we can come up with and put up some fun-type props, we'll absolutely do that. I think, when you look at some of the impact kids that are coming out, I don't know if there's one player that you're going to say is the next Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning that is going to shake the futures, on the big board for pro football. But I can tell you is that, depending on where Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell or potentially Beckham, if he were to get dealt, goes, that absolutely could have an impact on win totals, future book odds, and anything else concerning those teams.
Well, let me ask you again about the NFL draft props and the NFL combine props, because when you think about the appetite of the NFL wagering audience for betting on anything NFL related, I mean, how big do you think these can get? You try to project out 5, 10, 20 years down the road. Is this another Super Bowl we're talking about?
I don't think it's that big, but I think more the draft guys than the combine, because there's still so many unknowns about the combine, and I can see, maybe dipping our toe in the water and having some of the stuff up. But I do think the draft, I think potentially, as we look to continue to expand on that, and there's so much hype that surrounds the draft, and you hear about so many, kids that are coming out, and, teams that are looking to move up and down the draft boards, which we've seen. I do think you're going to see more than just a page or two, and you will see a number of different propositions, throughout the industry on the draft.
Well, I know one thing. It's going to boost ratings. The more that's out there in terms of bettable options at the NFL draft combine, the more viewers there will be as well, because people are going to take advantage of this. And if you guys have got something up, that fans are going to be sitting at home watching and just popping in those wagers on the mobile app. Why not? It's fun. Doesn't have to be big bets either. I mean, you can have a lot of fun betting $20 on who's going to run the fastest 40.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything else, guys. We've seen from the emergence of the in progress to in play to adding additional soccer leagues. The more that we can put up, and the more creativity that we can have, and with the mobile app right now, where guests can play from the comfort of wherever they're at. It does. I mean, I think there's a direct correlation between being able to watch the event and being able to wager on the event. And, of course, we've capitalized on that.
Yep, no problem with that. Coming up very soon, we have tournament time. And that means the renewal of one of the most fun contests around. It's such a big hit in football. It's just as exciting, maybe even more so, because of the way the games are staggered. The basketball version of Last Man Standing.
Oh, it is. I think it's the ideal or the marquee college basketball contest. $25 entry fee, 4 entries. You get the 5th one free for $100 investment. $50,000 guaranteed. It's gotten bigger and bigger every year. We're doing our college basketball tip-off to the tourney seminar, which is free and open to the public, on Tuesday, March 19th in Club Madrid. We've got a host of great handicappers coming out that night to have some fun. Would love it if you guys, come out and join in the fun as well. We'll be giving away a couple of entries to Last Man Standing. Nice. But if you like the Last Man Standing format and you have fun with it, or were successful in pro football and college football, the college basketball tournament one is just a sensational way to play the tournament.
And when's that seminar again? You said it was at Club Madrid,
Tuesday,
right?
March 19th at 6 p.m. In Club Madrid. It's free, open to the public. We serve pizza and soft drinks. Hammer and Hank Goldberg's going to be out there. Bernie Fratto, Brian Blessing, and myself host. Andy Isco, Bruce Marshall. It's just a lot of fun. A lot of other guys throughout the industry come out and enjoy the night as well.
Something else you want to mark down when the next viewing party is for the Golden Knights, because there's no place more fun to watch the Golden Knights when they're on the road than at a viewing party at Sunset Station.
The next one, guys, is on it's on the 10th of March. I believe that's on Monday night, or Sunday, excuse me. It's against Calgary, and they're one of the teams that, the Knights are chasing. And, a team right now that's really, really good. Johnny Gaudreau is a superstar. They're good on both ends. They might need some help between the pipes. And in the next 72 hours, I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are active in the NHL, which you may see some odds change for teams. We adjusted Columbus today when they picked up Matt Duchene. They looked to be a seller with Panarin and Bobrovsky, and said they were a buyer with Duchene. So it's always stuff that, we're looking at and the guests are looking at. But that Calgary game against the Knights in a couple of weeks should be a really good game.
Yeah, speaking of which, from Duchene's standpoint, about the easiest move of all time because Columbus is playing at Ottawa tonight. So all you have to do is skate to the other side of the rink, and he's all set.
It's funny, but he's going to be able to play tonight, but because of some visa problems, he may not be able to play in their next game on U.S. soil.
How weird is that?